Yeah. Since 2019, we've been building mindset and purpose for real estate agents, entrepreneurs, leaders, people becoming more than they were yesterday.
Monday through Friday we rise. We win the morning, we win the mind. Faith over fear, pressure into purpose, confidence built through the work. Something good is gonna happen to me. Something good is gonna happen to me. I don't need all the answers, I just need belief. Becoming who I'm called to be, making impact bigger than me. God first, doubt steps back. When it gets heavy, we figure it out. You're not here by accident, you're part of the story. Stepping strong, stepping faith. Let's get your mindset right.
'Well, good morning to you all. Good morning to you. Oh my, Devin, good morning. It is good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Good morning. It is excited to have you here, especially on the West Coast. Good morning, Chris. Chris is here. Good morning to you, Chris, Jesse. Good morning to you, Patrina and Kat, Marie. Say good morning in the chat. Say good morning in the chat. I did throw in a copy paste for you. Sometimes we find that if you text people like within 5 minutes of the show, I got to do a shout out to Sherry. I'm not going to do it quite yet, Sherry, because I want to say something special, but want to use it to invite somebody. Use it to invite somebody. I love what Chet's got doing. He's coming with purpose on getting people on the show. So feel free to copy paste that and invite somebody on the show. We always text people. We're live right now. So appreciate those that invited somebody on here this morning. So thank you all so very much for being on here. My name is Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate agent, and a DAD. So Brielle is at camp this week. She's at called Camp Luricrest. And I just had one of those father moments yesterday that I had to practice Jackie, that my daughter, love her to death. I want to say that first. Little Brielle, little cute, little innocent Brielle that has $5,000 in braces in her mouth, that she does not have those braces anymore. But since she's had these braces off for about 2 weeks, we've had to get three wonderful retainers, because she likes to take them out, crack them. And then the other day, just right before she has to go to camp, she left them on the couch. And I don't know if you know this at all, everybody, but dogs like retainers. Dogs love retainers. And they do not fit into their mouth, so they just eat them. They eat those wonderful retainers, and then you can't get them back. And then your daughter goes for a full week. And for those of you, we don't need to be a dentist, but we can all pretty much understand that your teeth move within 3 to 4 days. And this happened Friday, which was a holiday, which we all know the dentist wasn't there. So yesterday, I had the joy of picking up these retainers. To come find out that I didn't know the dentist, they have a wonderful schedule. I like to get on their schedule. They close at 3:30, and Brock was there at 4:30, trying to go get this wonderful retainer. And I go to the retainer, and luckily, I guess they were having a bad day too, because they were still there, and I had no idea that they closed. But I should have realized when the lights were out and they're working in the dark that that would have been a good sign for me, but I didn't think anything of it. And this lady's like, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yes, I'm here to pick up my daughter's retainer." And she gets me the retainer, and we had a little powwow. Then, of course, Lake Lure is 2 hours away, and Brock is trying to be efficient with time, yet smart with money. So then I go to the UPS store, and that is when I found out that it's $82 to overnight from here to Luracrest, these wonderful, beautiful retainers. So, am I a DAD? Yes, I am a DAD, but not a happy DAD. And $80 less today because somebody needed to get. So don't you all worry. When my little sweetheart comes home this weekend, we already got a chore list, and I already told her what her hourly rate is. So she's got some things lined up. So for all you parents out there who've been there, done that, drop a 5 in the chat that you've been there, done that in some capacity, in some way. We're all parents in some way, in some shape or form, and we just got to do it. So that's my DAD story. So thank you all so very much for listening to that. Let's get ourselves started. So good morning to you all. Thank you so very much for being on here. For those of you who are first time being on here, thank you. For those that I met yesterday, before we get into our affirmation, I want to give a shout out to Sherry because Chet, just want to let you know it was a very cool feeling to see Sherry as a teacher in last night's investor meeting. Shout out to Fran. Fran was there as well. So Fran, me, and Sherry were there. And then we met our boy Chris. Chris was on. We met him last night. So it's cool to see him on here. But Sherry did a really, and then I go to the other screen. So I don't know if anybody else is on here as I'm kind of looking here quickly. Is so Sherry makes a comment and invites everybody at the table. And Chet, I gotta tell you, she did it. She invited everybody at the table. But I want to say shout out to Sherry that thank you because I I'm not usually in the same room when people invite people and they talk about this show. So it was kind of cool to sit back and to hear what it meant to Sherry on what she was sharing to the table, on what it's meant to her and why people should be there. And to be able to have that opportunity last night to see from that perspective, I also want to give a shout out to Chet because if Chet doesn't purposely reach out and ask people to invite people, it might not have resonated with Sherry to be able to do that. And she really did that. And that was really cool. And I want to thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Chet. Thank you, Fran, because she also added support as well at that time for that event. So it was really cool to be able to see that. And part of my topic today is the act of kindness. And I started to think back. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And I was just like, I'm freaking running out of things to talk about because this is the third day in a row that I'm leading. And I was just like, I better come up with something good because people are going to be like, all right, enough out of him. So this is the last day that you have to hear from me for at least a couple of days before we have other people speak. But as you all know, and like Sherry and Chris and Fran and the others found out yesterday, I'm not short of words. So when I get a chance to talk, I like to talk, and I'm all right with that. So before we get into it, let us do our affirmation. Let us do our affirmation. Everybody come off of mute. Everybody come off of mute today. And we're all going to say it together in unison, like you really, really mean it, even though we've said it 3 days in a row. Today is the day that you're really going to feel it today and share it with other people. So on the count of three, let's all say it together. 1, 2, and 3.
Something
Something
good
good
is
is going
going
to
to
happen
happen.
to me.
Good is going to
Good is
happen
going
Something
to
good
to
happen
is going to happen
to
through
me.
me.
Through me. All
Amen.
right. All right. Amen to that over there. What up, Jackie? Good morning to Denise is on here. A couple new people on here. Chet, shout out to Chet. Chet did a large or mass text message and email to his database as well. So thank you, Chet, for inviting new people on here as well. So I just love seeing people being very purposeful on what they're doing and what their intentions are on that. And so yesterday we talked about our mission. Our mission yesterday. How many of you? How many of you? Put a me in the chat. Put a me in the chat that you attacked your mission yesterday. Put a me in the chat that you went after your mission yesterday. Put a me in the chat. How many me's do we have in here? Chet did a me. Anybody else get a me? Jackie did a me. Okay. Leah, Sherry, Rosario. Denise, Fran. I'll give myself a me. I was on a mission yesterday. I was out working on getting some new listings into place and putting something in action on a business that I'm working on. So some me's, Michelle. Awesome. If you didn't get a me or this is your first time being on here, yesterday we talked about what is your mission? What is your mission? And it just resonates differently when you're on a mission. You do things differently. So that's kind of your week. Now you did your daily mission. Now I'm going to challenge those to do your weekly mission. What is it that you want to get out of Friday? What is it that at 5 o'clock on Friday, you're like, damn, I freaking did it. I knocked it out of the park. I did what I wanted to do. Think about that today and what your weekly mission is going to be on that. So I'm going to read to you a story. Okay. This story, I read out of the Good Morning 365 Positive Ways to Start Your Day. I figured that book was better than 365 Negative Ways to Start the Day. So I figured I'd read the positive one. In today's story, it's not of length, but I want you guys to lean into this and I want you to visualize yourself, this lady on here, when you're hearing this story. And then we'll kind of open it up and see where the conversation takes us this morning. So here's a little story about somebody at the airport. A woman was waiting at the airport one night with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shop. She bought a bag of cookies and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as he could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag between them, which she tried to ignore and avoid a scene. She munched cookies and watched the clock, as this gutsy guy was a cookie thief, diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I'd blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too. And when one was left, she wondered what he would do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, oh, brother. This guy has some nerve, and he's also rude. Why, he didn't even show any gratitude. She had never known when she has been so galled, and the sight with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed for the gate, refusing to look back at that thieving and irate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat, then sought her book, which was almost complete. As she reached in her baggage, she was grasped with a surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are in here, she moaned with despair, then the others were his, and he just tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one and the thief. The end. So, I guess it's not really a story, it's a poem. And when I read that, how many times do we find ourselves with certain thoughts? Like, I can't believe that person. I was sharing with the gentleman last night, Richard, and I was wearing a golf shirt, and he was asking me if I golf. And I said, well, I got a little story behind that. And so we talked and I shared him a little bit about my scar. But I was saying to him that at the time period, because he asked me, like, man, what, kind of a little bit about it. I said, here's the thing I took from it. One is I can't control my first thought, but I can control my second thought. And the first thought is how unlucky am I that I got hit with a golf ball? How unlucky am I that it happens on a time period that's Brock's time? I was with my buddy Paul, and I was doing my own thing, and I was escaping life and able to have fun. And here am I, bent out of shape that I got hit in the golf ball. Couldn't even finish my hole. Couldn't even finish my round. And all these negative thoughts start piling up. Just like this lady with the cookies. All these thoughts, all these intent. I can't believe this guy. I can't believe this person. How many of us go through life, our day, or somebody at the traffic, somebody at the grocery store, somebody at work, somebody who we think did us wrong. I can't believe them. And it's not until the second thought that we actually have control over. It's not till the second thought when I start saying this, Jesse, and I start looking at this and I'm like, you know what, Jackie? That could have hit my eye. I could have lost my entire eye socket over here. You know what? If that hit my teeth, I don't even know what I'd be able to do. Besides, here I am bitching about Brielle's retainer, and I might be having to get false teeth. I might be having to do something different. One of the guys said to me at the shop while I was there, he goes, "Good thing you're not a good golfer." And I said, "Why is that?" He says, "Because if you actually kept your head down and watched the ball, it would have hit you in the temple." I said, "That is a good point." I didn't really think about it like that. Right? Because it's a different perspective. See, it wasn't until that opportunity where she got herself in a position that she realized the perspective that she once had was completely different. And how many of us have situations that take place in our life that we get a different perspective? And why I brought up the whole Sherry story and Chet and everything else is because I had my first initial thought in the moment. Because when Chet asked me on my birthday, he wanted to speak at the very end of it. This is how it all works, though. Like, I'm just trying to give you like a relatable thing where we go into, sometimes it's a very selfish mode, because when Chet asked me to speak on my birthday at the last minute, I selfishly went, "Oh, that's so nice of him. He probably wants to wish me a happy birthday or say something about a birthday wish. That's really nice of the guy." I really had no idea what the hell the guy was going to talk about, what he was going to ask for. And I immediately, my first thought went into a selfish mode, like he's going to wish me a happy birthday before we go on this little break. And yet, he did something even better that I couldn't even imagine until I heard his conversation. I heard him say, "We need to have 100 people on this show." I'm surprised that there's not more people on here. The value, not just me, but all the people that are on here, the community, those that come out here on a routinely basis, for the speakers. I'm getting ready to announce our national summit, everything that's included with it, all these things. Yet Chet rose the bar, and I had a different perspective at the time period. But like, wow, he really finds value in this. Here's my original thought this way, just like the cookies. Yet he's the one wanting to pour more people into this, to help more people, to be able to engage, to have conversations. How many of you on here have had better networking, reached out business, had different things happen to you that you never thought on this show? And the people that just came on here, they literally came on here from Sherry yesterday, sharing about the show, giving a different perspective. And I was just like, wow, of giving. When John Hart reaches out to me and connects me with people, says, you need to talk to this person, Brock. You need to talk to this person. Reach out to this person. So I want you to today, y'all. I want you to see where your first thought might be skewed and holding you back to get to your second. How many of you might be refusing to even get to your second because, boy, you really like being on your first? I really like being in victim mode. I really like being in saying, like, man, you don't understand. The business sucks. The real estate market sucks. You just don't understand. The market's this way. The interest rates are this way. Literally, all I just put a property under contract, and the real estate agent didn't even put FHA on the list. And I was working with these buyers who came from a real estate agent. Just a quick side note for all my real estate agents out there, even lenders out there. This real estate agent told these buyers that they asked for like $8,000 in closing costs, and that if they only get $5,000, they'll just get a check at closing for the other $3,000. And so I was trying to explain this to them at the time period. So this goes back to first thought and second thought. So as this wife is sharing this with me, she's like, well, Brock, what happens if we don't spend it? We'll just get that check, right? It's like, no, we don't do that. That's fraud. We can't do that. Well, I mean, if you're asking us for this and we got to pay for this, like, why aren't you giving us this? She was getting, not like, she just didn't understand. And then I had to go back and I had to reflect, because at first I was like, where is this lady? I said, Courtney, if you don't mind, just help me out a little bit here. Like, where this, disconnect might be. Maybe I'm miscommunicating. Well, our first real estate agent said that we would get the money in a check. See, if you don't ask the right questions, you don't really understand where the root comes from. You don't understand that I can get all bent out of shape and be like, why is this person questioning my intelligence? Do you know who I am? And that's when our ego elevates. And we all know ego is easing God out. Instead of understanding, like, okay, I need to understand really where the root is, to understand where we need to grow with this, where we need to go with this. But the point of the conversation that I was getting at is, once we did that, you don't know sometimes why so the FHA loan wasn't even on the MLS because the listing agent didn't think it was FHA compatible. And I was just like, well, and he was, so Chet, all my lenders out there, just know I did throw your names out there, but they already had somebody that they were working with because they were already with the previous deal and they lost the deal. So I said, well, can I talk to your lender? And they're like, well, why? I said, because I need to see if this home is FHA qualified, because you're FHA here, and I just need to put this on here because it's a mobile home. I said, we could do this. I just want to verify because I don't want to go through this. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. Long story short, it is FHA qualified, and we were able to do it, and we were able to work through the differences. But see, when you have people's first thoughts compared to second thoughts, I challenge you all to understand really the root of what's going on. I encourage you all, when you're going through your day today, there's going to be little hidden things that the devil's going to throw on your plate today that you might be like, oh, damn, I didn't think that. I wasn't expecting that. Why is this traffic here? Why can't this person be here? How many of us at the gas station get bent out of shape when somebody like slides right in front of you when you're getting gas? How many of us get in moods when things aren't going the right way? We go from victimhood and we stay in victimhood instead of being the victor and overcoming. So I challenge you today to focus on getting to your second thought today. It's going to be disguised in ways you can't even imagine. But I want you to think about how you can get to your second thought today. I want you to think about, are you really purposeful and intentional about inviting people on this show? Are you coming with clarity? Are you coming with intent? Are you coming with passion, the way Sherry shared it yesterday at the table of what it's meant to her and how you can help other people? And it's not just me, it's all the people that are on here. How many of you put your phone number on here again? And reaching out and saying, call me, reach out to me, let's have a conversation, let's engage. How many of us can reach out to somebody else and share with them their mission statement? What is your mission today? What is your daily mission again? What does that look like? How can I help you? When I tell people how many times I'm on this show, I remember sitting next to the young guy, Adam, last night, and he goes to me, he goes, oh, you do a podcast? That's awesome, man. I don't know, you could be on here. And we were talking about it, and he was just like, he asked me, he's like, man, so you do it like once a month? I said, no, it's every day. And like I had to like say it to him like twice because he's like, oh, every day. Okay, like every day you like record it or like no. 255 times a year is when we're on this show in some capacity, in some way. And he looked at me like, oh, I think we were talking to Chris. Chris was on here too when I told him I do probably over 350 Zooms a year in continuing coaching and doing something like that. And he like his eyeballs went up. He's like, whoa. I challenge you. What is your mission? And your mission is not something you do when you feel good. Your mission is not something when things seem to be right, when your relationship is blissful and your wife told you loves you and your husband just gave you a big kiss and brought you flowers. You just got a closing and you paid all your bills. Your daily mission is when the things aren't going well, you show up anyways. The mission is when you got bad news and somebody catastrophically or something took place and changed and altered your entire day. Jennifer Warren was on the prayer call this morning, and both her and I had a lack of sleep. We had strong thunderstorms. I had a stomach ache. I probably got 4 hours with broken sleep, and I was miserable at 4:15 this morning. But I knew that I had to show up in some capacity because my mission is to help people. My daily mission is to pour into people in some capacity, in some way. So today, resonated with you in some way. Maybe you were the lady with the cookies. Maybe you were the man offering, giving. Maybe you were that man that felt slighted because she didn't say thank you. And I can't believe she didn't even say thank you. The audacity. Are you the person that takes the last cookie and doesn't break it in half? Are you the person that does break it in half? Are you the person with intention of inviting people? Or you just say, yeah, I'll invite people, but you don't? Is it in your calendar? Are you calling people with intention on here? Whatever that might be. So if you got something out of today, drop a 5 in the chat. Drop a 5 in the chat if you got something out of today in some capacity, in some way, in some form, whatever that might look like. And just know, you get a little break from me for the next couple days. Actually, for about a week, because we have some great guests coming on here over the next couple of days. So invite people. Chet, do you want to say your speech, Chet? Anything you want to add here at the end? Got to give Chet his closeout this week, all.
Yeah. So we had a couple more people today, but based on my model, if we only add the number of people we added today, we're only going to hit 77 people. So we're not on track. We need to step it up and get that 100 people by the end of the month. Talk to you again tomorrow.
That's why I like analytical people. They know the statistics. They know exactly what we got. I would have never guessed. If we keep this same track, we're at 77. so, so I love it, man. I love it. Guys, let's get to 100 people. It's actually always been a goal of mine to get to 100, but to have somebody else with the same goal, that's what environment does. That's what environment does. That's what it brings, that synergy around the table. So let's continue to invite people. Let's get to those 100 people that we got, that we want to have at the end of this month. I appreciate you all. God bless you all. Thank you all so very much. Remember, you can't control your first thought, but you got your second thought. Let's get to that second thought to help your business get to your daily mission. God bless you all. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8:15 Eastern. Till then, see ya.